So planted forests protect the land from erosion for the majority of the rotation. Therefore, we know trees are good. However, on steeplands, harvesting is one of the highest risks to the environment and the sector's licence to operate, due to the risk of landslides and debris flows. Research in this area is focused on reducing the window of vulnerability. The window of vulnerability describes the elevated risk of landslides after a forest has been harvested and before the next crop reaches canopy closure and root site occupancy. This window is about 5 to 6 years. We first looked at perceptions and scale of the issue. We interviewed all councils and also looked at the media. The councils were very understanding of the issue and forestry's approaches to best management of a difficult issue. Media analysis showed major concerns around debris impacts downstream of the forest. These media concerns were focused on few, high-profile and high-impact events. There was very little quantification of the issue. So what is the size of the issue, both impacts in and outside of the forest, as a result of landslides and debris flows? We explored how to quantify the issue using a database design. However, in and out of forest data collection was not seen as an effective option. So we moved to remote sensing-based quantification approaches focused on within forest impacts. This used LiDAR to map erosion scars and the impact on forest productivity. This figure here shows a case study using LiDAR in the Tyrol forest. We were able to quantify and map landslide scars even under the canopy. This could then be linked to previous work which showed a 10 to 15% volume loss when trees were planted on landslide scars and allowed us to quantify in-forest productivity impacts from landslides. Given the increasing coverage of LiDAR, this method is likely to be the way to go for monitoring the impacts of landslides on forest productivity. We really want to avoid the erosion if at all possible, so we looked at closing the window of vulnerability through understanding tree root characteristics for a range of tree species to plan for future forests. A set of tree species were selected and a root library developed to better understand their root characteristics by species for root reinforcement potential. Not all tree species are the same, and we can target specific species where root reinforcement is needed. Using the knowledge that some species have a higher slope root reinforcement potential, we trialled an option to reduce the window of vulnerability by interplanting a fast-growing tree species such as willow with radiata pine. We wanted to know if there was any impact on the growth and health of the radiata pine by intermixing these two tree species. This field trial was planted in 2015 in the Waikura Valley in the East Coast. After 3 years of growth, the willows were not significantly impacting on the growth of the radiata pine, but the willows had been very heavily browsed by animals. We did find an interesting result, that the radiata pine was taller in the presence of willow. Therefore, the existence of willow may even benefit tree height for radiata. We could also assume that the severely browsed willow may benefit the radiata through reduced shoot competition. However, we could also hypothesise that there may be a positive effect of the willow via root facilitation, as the willows have a plant hormone that does stimulate root growth. Key achievements from this part of the program in the GCFF are we have shown that remote sensing approaches work for assessing the impacts of landslide scars on forest productivity. We have a library of tree species root reinforcement characteristics to plan our future forests. And we have a positive finding from a mixed species trial. These findings will be able to be incorporated into new good practice guidance materials. Our team is involved in a number of linked projects that form part of the Steeplands jigsaw and are drawing on the knowledge from this Growing Confidence in Forestry's Future programme for example, research in the economics of steepland harvesting options, the new proposal put forward on slash risk and management for 2020, and the contribution towards the social licence debate.